Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we are taking a highly technical and strictly educational look at the internal interface of a well-known piece of Android malware known as CraxsRAT. What makes this overview particularly interesting is the hardware environment we are using. We are not running this on a traditional desktop or a standard virtual machine. Instead, we are running this entire analysis on a OnePlus 6T smartphone. Through the impressive capabilities of Project Renegade, this mobile device has been flashed to run a full native version of Windows 11 on ARM architecture. The fact that a full-fledged malware builder and command and control center can run seamlessly on a repurposed Android phone running Windows 11 really highlights how portable and flexible modern software, both good and bad, has become. Before we dive into the interface, I want to make it absolutely clear that this video is exclusively for educational purposes and cybersecurity awareness. We are only doing an overview of the tool's graphical user interface to understand how threat actors configure and deploy their payloads. There will be no practical demonstrations of infections, no live targets, and no malicious activities showcased in this video. As security professionals, researchers, or just tech enthusiasts, understanding the tools that adversaries use is the first critical step in learning how to defend against them. Let us begin by looking at the main application window. When the program is launched, you are greeted by the primary dashboard. The interface relies on a very aggressive black and red color scheme, featuring a prominent logo of a stylized, somewhat demonic owl placed directly over a map of the world. This world map in a live environment would typically populate with geographical markers indicating the physical locations of infected devices or clients connecting back to the server. On the far left side of the screen, we have our primary navigation menu. This includes tabs for the Builder, Injection, Studio, Dropper, and Settings. Across the very top of the application, there is a secondary navigation bar that allows the operator to switch between the dashboard, the list of active clients, notifications, servers, active connections, and blocked IP addresses. Looking at the bottom section of this main dashboard, we can see the telemetry and status panels. There is an info panel that displays the number of currently online infected devices, the designated listening ports, and the encryption key. Next to that are the sent and received panels, which monitor the total bytes of data moving between the command and control server and the infected devices. Finally, there is a recent panel designed to show a quick log of the latest connections or disconnections. Moving away from the main dashboard, let us examine the injection and payload configuration modules, specifically looking at a window titled CraxsRAT Injector. In the Connections tab of this module, the attacker configures the core network parameters required for the malware to phone home. We can see text fields where the operator can define a client name to identify the specific payload campaign, and a key field, which is currently set to a default of 1234. More importantly, there are fields for host or IP and the port, which is defaulted to 4444. This is where the attacker inputs the IP address of their command and control server. When the malicious application is installed on a victim's device, it uses these exact settings to reach out across the internet and establish a reverse connection back to the attacker's machine. Switching over to the Target tab within that same CraxsRAT Injector window, we see the options used to bind the malicious payload to a specific application. Threat actors rarely send out empty, obvious malware files. Instead, they take a legitimate, popular application, perhaps a game or a utility, and inject their malicious code inside it. This screen allows the user to select the target APK folder and define the target activities. There are also interesting checkboxes here, such as one labeled Protect App. This indicates that the builder has built-in evasion techniques designed to implement anti-decompilation measures. By obfuscating the code, the malware attempts to make it incredibly difficult for security analysts and automated antivirus engines to reverse engineer the application and discover the hidden CraxsRAT payload inside. Now, let us look at the Options tab in the Injector window, which is perhaps one of the most revealing sections of this tool. This is where the attacker dictates the behavior and permissions of the malware on installation. On the left side, there is a custom notification area with fields for a title and message. This is used for social engineering. The malware can generate fake system notifications to trick the user into clicking them. On the right side of this Options tab, we see a checklist of critical checkboxes. These represent the permissions the malware will aggressively pursue. The first is Request Accessibility. In the Android operating system, accessibility services are designed to help users with disabilities by allowing applications to read the screen and simulate tabs. However, when malware obtains this permission, it essentially gains full control over the device. It can read text messages, capture passwords, and interact with other apps without the user's knowledge. Below that is auto permissions. If the malware manages to secure accessibility rights, it can use the auto permissions feature to literally click through the Android settings menu by itself, granting itself every other permission it needs like camera, microphone, and location access, all in a fraction of a second. Then we see the anti-uninstall checkbox. This is a common persistence mechanism. If a victim realizes their phone is infected and attempts to open their system settings to uninstall the suspicious app, this feature uses the malware's privileges to instantly crash or close the settings window, effectively trapping the user and making manual removal incredibly frustrating, if not impossible. We also see Draw Over Apps checkbox. This permission allows the malware to render graphics on top of other applications. Attackers use this to execute overlay attacks. For example, if you open your legitimate banking app, the malware detects this and instantly draws a fake, identical login screen perfectly over the real one. When you type in your credentials, you're handing them directly to the attacker. Finally, the Keep Screen On option is present, likely to prevent the device from sleeping during data exfiltration or automated tasks. Next, we can take a look at the APK Studio section of the software. This is a built-in workspace for manipulating Android application packages. The interface provides straightforward buttons for the entire lifecycle of application tampering. There is a decompile button to break a pre-existing app down into its source code and resources. Once the code is extracted, the attacker injects the CraxsRAT payload. Then they use the compile button to rebuild the application back into a single installable file. After that, the Sign APK button is used. Android requires all apps to be digitally signed before installation. Attackers use this tool to generate fake or self-signed certificates to bypass basic system checks. Lastly, there is a Protect APK button, which likely applies the obfuscation techniques we discussed earlier to hide the newly injected code from security scanners. Now, let us look at the Settings menu of the CraxsRAT tool to see how the operator manages their environment. In the General settings, there are toggle switches to check for updates on startup, hide the Connections window, and interestingly, a toggle to log all connections, which allows the attacker to keep a persistent record of every device that is pinged to their server. Scrolling down to the Alerts section, the tool offers granular notification settings for the attacker themselves. They can set the software to play specific sounds or trigger alerts when a client disconnects, or when a new client successfully connects and falls under their control. It highlights how these tools are designed to be run unattended, notifying the operator only when a new victim has been acquired. At the very bottom of the settings menu is the About section. It proudly displays the version number as CraxsRAT v7.4. It lists a website domain and claims copyright for the year 2024. The license author is listed as ELF Dev. It described itself plainly as an advanced Android remote control software, and right below the logo, it features a rather arrogant tagline that reads, "One rat to rule them all." This concludes our deep dive into the interface of the CraxsRAT Builder running on Windows 11 ARM-powered OnePlus 6T. By examining these menus and options, we gain a much clearer understanding of how sophisticated mobile threats are packaged, how they manipulate device permissions, and the strategies they employ to maintain persistence and evade detection. Understanding the adversary's toolkit is essential for building better defenses and practicing safer digital habits. Always remember to only download applications from trusted official sources And be extremely cautious when an application requests broad permissions, especially accessibility services. Thank you for watching. Stay safe online, and I will see you in the next video.